Welcome back to DXB Today, and we are talking everything literature today. My favourite event of the calendar year, the Emirates Airline Festival of Literature. And now, joining us on the sofa is Shamma Al Bastaki, an Emirati writer, Harvard and NYU alumni, known for her award-winning multidisciplinary practice. Welcome to the show, Shamma. How are you?
Thank you so much, Lane. I'm very well, thank you.
Very good to see you.
Likewise.
So, tell us about your journey, how you got into actually writing and poetry.
Yeah, sure. It's been a long journey. I think of it more as a way of being rather than a journey, and it started when I was very young. I started writing when I was about 7 or 8. That's when I sort of got captivated with the written word, and then you know, when I was in my early teens, that's when I started writing the most, I would say. And yeah, and then when I was about in my mid-teens, I sort of got entrenched into the writing community and getting to know more writers and poets like myself, and of course attending the Emirates Literature Festival. And ultimately, when I was in university, that's where I started to treat my poetry as a craft as well as an emotional outlet, and here I am today.
Was there anyone that you looked up to when you were first embarking on your journey?
Absolutely, there are so many writers and poets. I mean, we're very fortunate to be from a place in a region where writing and poetry is really all around, and so inspiration is really not that hard to find. And you know, I could say that I find as much inspiration in talking to you know, people in my immediate surroundings as I do through the poetry that I was reading in school and in university, and you know, very much finding inspiration in the day-to-day, or as George Perec likes to say, the infraordinary.
Shamma, you've had a long journey with the Lit Fest,
Yes.
from an attendee to a performer, and now participating for the first time with your own book.
Yeah.
What's that like?
It is, there are really no words to describe it, Ahlam. It's absolutely surreal, and I remember, you know, being 13 years old, walking through the halls of the Emirates Lit Fest, looking around and hoping one day to share my poetry here. I don't think I could have imagined sort of being at the Lit Fest and you know, debuting my actual collection of poetry. It's super, super exciting. I'm very honored and delighted to be at this point in the journey, and you know, with the Emirates Lit Fest having backdropped and being foundational to all of it.
I mean, we're so excited to have the
Thank
book
you.
out, house to house, bit la bit,
Yes.
and I've just been perusing it just
Yeah.
now. It's a very interesting book. It follows
you.
it seems to be following the aesthetic, at least, of traditional Arabic poetry. And I've noticed that you've got the English and the Arabic sometimes in the same poem. Can you tell me a little bit about the inspiration behind that and how you expect it to be read?
So there's really no specific way in which the text is meant to be read. It's sort of intentionally multilingual, and is inspired by conversations that were, you know, primarily in Arabic, that I translated and transliterated and then cast into this, I call it a stanzaic mold, which is a 4x4 structure, 4 words per line, 4 lines per stanza. And the ways in which these linguistic choices were made were very intuitive. And so I would hope that people who encounter this text will also encounter it as intuitively, and you know, feel very fluid with how they navigate the language, which I like to think of as material. And I'm always thinking about how language can be material and sort of transcend its function as a bearer of meaning, and go beyond. How can sound be language? How can rhythm be language? And really expanding our definition of what language can be and do for us as people and as enjoyers of literature.
Shamma, why was it important for you to dedicate this book and tell the story of the people who lived on the Dubai Creek all those years ago?
Absolutely. Well, it's, you know, the project really started when I was thinking about the many stories that I was hearing of people who lived around the Dubai Creek and its various communities, and how many of those textures of life, of day-to-day life, that we don't really see many sort of compelling, even humorous stories, and I really wanted to capture that and to you know, incorporate it in a, you know, poetry felt like the natural medium for me to do so, and it's a really foundational part of our history and our story, and a core part of the way we are today, and so it's you know, this was my you know, mechanism to do that.
That's amazing.
It's an ode to a fantastic place in the city.
Absolutely.
It's got so much rich history, so
Absolutely.
we're glad you focused on that as well.
Thank you so much.
But I'd like to know more about, like, obviously you've been to Harvard,
Yeah.
you've been to NYU in Abu Dhabi as well, and I think it's very inspiring that the ruler of Dubai has a poetry book as well.
Yeah.
But tell us about that journey that, with Harvard and NYU, and how that has helped and shaped you today.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were super transformative experiences. I really enjoyed my time at Harvard and at NYU, and I would say that at both of those universities and through both of those experiences, I wrote the two collections of poetry that I think are most foundational to my journey. When I was at Harvard, that's when I started to look introspectively and think about how I could merge my interest in social research and public policy with what I was studying in literature and creative writing, and that's where the initial seeds for House to House were birthed nearly a decade ago. And then at Harvard, I wrote my second collection of poetry called Al Majaz, which was very much inspired also by my walks across the pedestrian underpasses of the UAE, and drawing in them and thinking about how language can travel through a city.
Shamma, I mean, your work is amazing, and of course, you took a little bit of inspiration from the East and the West in a way, and your work does represent the UAE, which is also a nation that holds on to its traditions, but also embraces contemporary ideas. Tell me about how you walk that line of that balance, and how does the Emirates Festival of Literature help authors like you in the region?
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think about this a lot. And for me, I don't really think of it as a binary. Rather, in fact, everything that I've worked on in my writing seeks to confront that binary, and think about the spaces in between, and how, in fact, drawing on you know, traditional forms can actually have space in the contemporary landscape, and vice versa, and how there are certain contemporary elements, or certain, as some might say, modernisms that are inherent to the more traditional poetry of the region, and I see them kind of go hand in hand. And in fact, I mean, if we're thinking theoretically, it's really a conversation of you know, universalism versus cultural relativism. And I think I found through my practice and through my encounters with poetry that it's in fact the culturally relative and the hyper-specific and the hyper-local that resonates with people globally, more than you know, the more kind of blanket universal works. And at least for me personally, especially with House to House, where I've had the fortune of sharing it in many places beyond the UAE. It's of course very specifically inspired by memories from the 1940s until the 1980s in Dubai and communities around the Dubai Creek. Of course, that's something that's super specific, but out of all the works I've written, when I shared this text in Bali, Indonesia, and in Japan, and various places, it's the one that sort of connects with people the most. And I'm always surprised by how the hyper-local and the specific can resonate so profoundly with people who it might seem strange to, but actually brings them closer.
And thank you so much for sharing that piece of work with us, and thank you, of course, Ahlam, for bringing it even closer to us. But before we say goodbye to both of you, we want to put our guest co-host on the spot with Ash.
All right, Ahlam, we're going to get to know you a little bit better, okay? This is our DXB in 60 quiz, where we're going to ask you 60 questions, and you need to try and answer as many as possible within that time frame, all right?
This.
No, it's all about you, so it's fine.
It's all about
it's
you.
fine.
I work in the business of words. I can't speak less.
All right, Ahlam, your time is 3, 2, 1, let's go. Kindle or a book?
Book.
Morning reading or late night reading?
Late night.
Quiet mornings or buzzing festival days?
Mornings are sacred for me, so like it's a tough one. I'd say both for this one.
Fiction or non-fiction?
Fiction.
Debut authors or literary legends?
Both.
A book that changed your life?
The Little Prince.
Right with me.
And that. The Little Prince is one of my all-time favorites, so maybe that one.
Your favorite sanctuary or hideaway in Dubai to read a good book?
My library at home.
Oh, wow. One genre you'll always make space for?
Children's literature. It's my new obsession. I love it.
A book you wish you could read again for the first time?
Motherhood by Sheila Heti.
And finally, why Dubai?
Why not? I mean, it's Dubai.
That's my favourite answer. It's Dubai.
Yeah, exactly.
Why even ask at this point?
What a silly question.
That's pretty self-explanatory. It's Dubai.
I think you did the best, actually. I'm getting word from that. Yeah, you got the best score.
Thank you.
Smashed it. Thank you so much for joining us and
Thank
being
you.
here. It's going to be a wonderful, busy week for you.
It's been a pleasure, and I'm waiting for all of you there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Starting
100%.
tomorrow, the entire weekend.
Yes,
Don't
most
forget my
definitely.
interview with Veer Das.
Oh, sure.
Promise me on national TV.
I will ask him. I promise I will ask him.
And Shamma, thank you so much for being on
Thank
the
you
show.
so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And of
Thank
course,
you.
now we're all going to see each other at the festival as well.
Yes, I can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be a great time.